Hi everyone, this is Josh from Balanced Body Rehab. I want to give you some of the whys today about why people have jaw pain. It's quite common. A lot of people have it. They get clicking, grinding, too much clenching, pressure around there, headaches around this region, all related to jaw pain. But a lot of times it's a bit of a mystery as to why those things come about. There can be a multitude of dental appliances you can use too, but from our perspective in physical therapy and what we do in our office is we try to help people correct a lot of the causative factors that alter the mechanics of the jaw first before going and working with the dentist or the orthodontist regarding the dentition or the teeth. Because if we can correct the structure first and everything evens out and you have less pain, then that's going to be the most conservative, safe method first to start with. So let me teach you a little bit more about the whys of jaw pain. Most of us have forward head carriage because we work on technology all the time. Okay, so forward head carriage like this and the rounded shoulders changes up the mechanics of the jaw. The jaw is essentially a hinged joint that when we open and close, it moves on both sides and it just hinges. Okay, if we get into positions that alter how that hinge moves, it can alter the mechanics of the TMJ, the temporomandibular joint, and cause pain. Okay, our head can maybe be tilted one way or the other, or our jaw can be forward, and that alters those mechanics. So again, the most common thing we see is people have a forward head carriage. When you have a forward head carriage, the muscles, you see how whenever I do this, it elongates my bottom neck like that. So those muscles underneath the neck then are starting, when you have a forward head carriage, those muscles are pulling back on the jaw, and they actually cause the jaw to be compressed back towards the ears like that, and that can cause pressure back there. All those muscles then, whenever the jaw is forward, start to turn on more because they're also trying to keep the jaw closed. The muscles are pulling, the bottom muscles are pulling it down, wanting to open it up, but then also compress it, okay? But then you're not going to walk around with your mouth open. That's unattractive. So these muscles are turning on to keep your mouth closed. So it looks more attractive and you don't drool. So because of that, there's a big tug of war going on that causes all the pressure right there. Just to tell you a little bit more about the mechanics of the jaw itself, the jaw is your mandible, and at the end of the mandible is the condyle. It's the head of your jaw like that. On top of that, okay, sits a disc. Okay, and so on top of the condyle sits a disc, and when you open your mouth, that the jaw first just kind of rotates in that spot. Okay, when you first start to open, but whenever you open it more wide, that condyle and disc should go together with one another like that. Okay, that's called translation, and it translates forward. You can feel that if you put your fingers on your jaw and you start to open, you'll just feel a little rotation there. But as you open more wide, you'll feel the jaw jump forward like that. Okay, so what happens whenever you're in forward head posture is that jaw can get locked back into play. That the head of your mandible, the condyle, can get locked back behind the disc there because it's so compressed. Because again, those muscles are pulling it back up in there. So what happens is the disc ends up forward of that, and then when you try to open like that, then the condyle has to jump on top of the disc, and it goes and pops up there, and then it can glide together again. Okay, but that's a click that you hear sometimes. If you get a click, that's what happens, is that it'll be behind. The disc can either be pushed forward or dislocated forward, it's called, or the condyle can be behind, and it'll, as you open up, it'll click forward and be on top of there. And then as you close your mouth, it'll sometimes and click back. That's the click on and the click off of the disc. Okay. The disc, when the condyle is sitting on top of that disc right there, there's hardly any pain there because the disc itself does not send any pain signals. But if the condyle or that head of the jawbone there is behind the disc, that's where all the pain-sensitive structures are back in there, because that's the tissue that holds the disc in place. And that's where a lot of the jaw pain comes from. So our whole methodology to treating pain is trying to get that condyle back on the disc and optimizing the structure of your neck, head, and jaw so that all the mechanics are what they should be, so the body's doing what it intended to do, and it gets the pressure off those pain-sensitive structures. For exercises specific to this, we have created a separate YouTube video, so please tune into that, and hopefully this information will help.